Radiate.
Hey, run that thing up.
Radiate.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Grade A Wrestling Podcast. I'm here with my guy Ty. How you doing, Ty?
Doing good.
Man, it's been a long time, man. We obviously have some things we had going on from the last episode, but we're back, man. Fernando, what's up, man? Appreciate you to be on the show. Let's do it, man. We're gonna get right into the wrestling. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we had Saturday Night Main Event that passed. We had the Battleground pay-per-view that passed. AEW's been cooking up. We had some unfortunate news today with the release of R-Truth. But we're going to get into it, man. Let's not waste any time. We're going to start with R-Truth, obviously. Let's get the cat out the bag here. He posted on his Twitter account that he's no longer going to be with WWE. His contract is going to be expiring, and they will not renew his contract. And the locker room, they're not happy with this release, obviously. A lot of people have been showing their appreciation for R-Truth and everything he's been able to do with the company over the last 17 years, which is kind of crazy that he's been with them for that long. It felt like it was just yesterday he started with WWE. But Ty, what is your thoughts on the release, and what will be your favorite moment of R-Truth with his stint in WWE?
I would say I don't want everyone to be totally mad, because I think this is one of those things, like you said, with the locker room being so behind him. I feel like, I would say this is a financial decision from someone, a higher up, pretty much making the decision, because obviously, they just bought AAA. They're bringing in all these other people. They even signed in Mariah May, it looks like. So pretty much in the past year, they brought in so much talent, and they're paying everyone good money. So when you sit there and be like, R-Truth, last couple years, it's really been more of a comedic thing. He's not really, he's not in anyone's plans, it seemed like. I do feel bad for him, because I thought he would be a for lifer. Because the fact that he's been here, the last 15 years?
17.
17, yeah.
He just had a match with John Cena.
Exactly. But that brings me to that point. I don't like this situation due to this whole mini feud they just had with Truth and Cena. I get it. They probably just wanted to do it to get it out the way. But I don't know. I feel like it could have been better. And especially like, hey, if we're releasing this guy at the end of the year, I don't think anyone would have been mad if Cena was putting the title up against him. A title versus career match.
Yeah, that would have been nice. To be honest, you could have done that at Money in the Bank.
That's why I'm saying. So the fact that they just did it Saturday Night Main Event, and the match itself wasn't that good, and there was no stakes for it. It just seemed very confusing. It just seemed like filler, But my favorite moment, R-Truth, gotta be him lighting that cigarette up on Raw. I'm telling you, man. That's when, oh my God, bro. That's when, like, his hill run and Little Jimmy, I like that was top tier. That was top tier. That showed you that this guy can be a serious character and can be a serious star if people, you know, got they write
Got the
good
right
for
push.
him and they do it right by him. But I I wouldn't be surprised if you see him do something in TNA, maybe even AEW for a little.
Yeah,
Not wrestling wise, but he's so good of a
I think he can
talent.
still go in the ring.
He can still go, and I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like he brings a lot to the table, especially, bro.
Yeah, but I think to your point, one of the biggest things that WWE's gonna miss with R-Truth is his ability to resonate with the fans. And for someone to not be on TV a lot or as often as you would like and still have that connection with the fans is very rare. And it's something that you can't overstate. So that's one thing I'm definitely gonna miss his presence. As far as my favorite memory, I think his heel run with him and the Miz when they had the whole Hell in a Cell situation with Cena, which led to the Capital Punishment match, which was not a good match, if I'm being honest. But just his hill run overall, I think was really, really good. Uh, I loved the whole, even though I hated the belt itself, he made the belt relevant and popular and had good moments with it throughout the shows when they needed filler, and that's with the 24/7 title. Him and Tozawa was really, really funny at times. So I really definitely enjoyed that. I wish they would have given him more of a serious run a few times. I would love to see him in the mid card a lot more during his 17-year stint. I know he had the 2 reigns with the US title, but I would love to see him get an IC title run at some point. But nonetheless, I disagree with one part. I don't think it's a financial thing because they're making a shitload of money. I don't think money is the issue with them. I just think TKO is just trying to cut loss and try to bring in more younger talent as well as people that's in social media like a Logan Paul and things of that nature. I don't necessarily agree with it, but this is the direction they're going, which is going to lead us to another talk point we're going to get into with TKO, which is in the title. But nonetheless, man, well wishes for R-Truth. I would love to see him in TNA, because then he could have some sort of ties with WWE still. And you might even see a minor appearance on NXT. And who knows? It would be nice to have him help Joe Hendry or Mike Santana win that TNA title off of Trick Williams, which we're going to discuss about that. And you was right. I thought about you when I seen that. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Matter of fact, let's get right into it now. We had Battleground from NXT recently. And Trick Williams beat Joe Hendry for the TNA World title in front of the TNA owners, I might add. What was your thoughts on the decision to give the title to Trick Williams? And what do you believe will be the next step for him with NXT and TNA moving forward?
So I think, well, I mean, I told you guys this was gonna happen
Yeah, you called it.
because,
I was hoping they didn't do it, but they actually pulled the trigger.
but they needed to. You know what I'm saying? So I think of when TNA and AEW had their whole, romance, whatever. First thing they did was make Kenny the belt collector, and he took the TNA title. You know, granted, he dropped it to Christian Cage, who then dropped it back to TNA. So I think you're gonna see something very similar. Um, I think it was a good decision because there has to be a payoff, of this whole, collaboration. And you don't want to keep seeing, in my personal opinion, I don't want to keep seeing TNA talent
Joe
hop on
Hendry.
hop on NXT and lose, vice
Yeah.
versa with NXT talent going to TNA and losing. It doesn't make sense because it just seems like your company doesn't want to put over the other company. So in this way, I believe Santana will take the belt off of Trick. Um, I don't agree with it because I think they should let Trick hold it for a little while.
It's rumored that the WWE might want to try to look at Mike Santana as well, considering how he was received backstage and to the crowd at
Of
NXT.
course, bro. This is what I told you. The reason why WWE's in this whole thing with TNA is because it gives them an easier access to literally just grab these guys. TNA doesn't care because it's helping TNA. You know, it's pretty much helping TNA stay relevant. Um, and pretty much what Fernando's saying, I believe that they should treat NXT pretty much with the TNA.
Just
Because
combine it.
yeah, just combine it because the fact that they're calling all these people up, you know, they already called up all the women. Stephanie called up tomorrow, pretty much. Jordan Grace is literally right behind her.
She's gonna go
And
to
now
SmackDown.
and now they're saying Ricky Starks is getting called up. So I'm like, if you're calling up all this talent, one, they better have plans for all of them, which they don't. I know that for sure.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
but I just feel like I think your level up and your evolve NXT talent that are fresh should be battling with the TNA talents, you know, because it's just gonna make both uh, brands better. And I know Mariah May is on her way, but I feel like she's too good to even be in NXT, and we're probably gonna get the same situation we had with Stephanie Vaquer. She gets the belt, then what? 2 months she's gone, called up. I'm telling you, a lot of these certain talent can't go to NXT because they'll be too over with the crowd. That's the problem. So I feel like fresh faces in TNA talent is better for NXT, in my opinion.
Yeah. So start off real quick with the main event. Obviously, I didn't like the decision. I agree with Fernando. I thought Joe should have won. Although to play devil's advocate, I'm not mad at it because to be honest, I think Joe was getting really stale as the champion. I feel like he's one of those, and it's not to his wrongdoing. I mean, they didn't put enough pieces around him to give him into good fuse where you can have him as a believe in fighting champion. But I don't know, something about him once he got the title, even before the title, if I'm being honest, it just didn't resonate with me. I love the character, don't get me wrong, but it's just something got stale really quickly. Something needed to change. And he needed a Trick Williams potentially to kind of up the ante in that feud, that because I feel like they're gonna go round two at some point for that title. And I think Joe might win depending on the direction TNA wants to go. I like Mike Santana being in the mix. I think he's more than deserving. However, if any TNA talent should be winning that main title or NXT titles, to Fernando's comment, I think it should be Moose. I think Moose is the guy. Obviously, they're not going to have him beat Oba right now, but I wouldn't be opposed to it down the line at some point. But to your point, Ty, I mean, Moose don't need to be in NXT that long. And I think Mariah May will do really well down there about 5 to 7 months, considering a lot of moves are going to be going on throughout those 5 to 7 months. Plus, I would love to see a Jada Parker Mariah May feud. I think that would sell tickets. I think given Parker's ability to sell in these specialty matches like the street fights, things of that nature, and what we see Mariah do with the likes of Tony Storm, and I know Jada Parker is not Tony Storm, but just to put those two together in a street fight or any type of specialty match, I think they will do really well if they get the time. JC Jane, since we're already on NXT, the one is the women's champion. I think her and Mariah could put on some good matches. I will say I was hard on JC, but she has improved. As far as her in-ring work, she was always solid on the mic, but I think her and Mariah can cook as well. Then you still got Zarya. So Ruka, I think will also put on a good match, her and Kaylani, but I think that character work is gonna make me draw back from a feud with them and Mariah May. So that's kind of my main. I think those are the main women in the NXT roster right now. Because, like you said, Grace is gonna get moved up. She's going to SmackDown most likely. Valkyria is gonna debut tomorrow, and I don't know why, but they're gonna move up Ricky Starks and still keep Ethan Page down there for some odd reason for a little bit longer. Which I guess how we can jump right into it. TKO are they watering down the product? From the scheduling, because there's rumors that now WrestleMania was announced for New Orleans. Now it's not. And then now it's going to get moved. It's going to go back to Vegas next year. But it's going to be at a later month than April. And it's a lot of pay-per-views are starting to get cramped in, and then it's not enough time for WWE to tell the stories with the way they would like. Fernando mentioned Lola Vice. Yes, Lola Vice is another one. I think they might move her up later in the year at some point. I wouldn't agree with it, but yeah, Lola Vice could be someone she can definitely feud with. But yeah, Ty, to your thoughts, do you think they're watering down the product?
Exactly. Yeah. 100,000%. They're watering it down. And you can tell based off just the long-term storylines alone. Because everything's in a long-term storyline right now, which it doesn't need to be. It needs to be exactly like WWE 2K. You hop into universe mode, you're setting up a feud. You know, you got a short feud, you got a medium feud, and you got a long feud. Not everything needs to be in this long feud. So I feel like we're consistently seeing the same matchups. Like Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I felt, even though their feud ended just now, I felt like they've been fighting for 2 years.
Yeah, and they both was fighting banged up. Drew's not going to be on TV for a while.
And the fact that they just kept the feud going, even though the guy's banged up, is ridiculous because we didn't need that feud. I don't think anyone cared to have that feud.
No, we talked about it here going into WrestleMania. Like, we didn't ask for this, but we know it's going to be a good match. And considering the two caliber superstars, you want to have them on your biggest show of the year. But we were not like trying to spend money to go see Drew versus Damian.
Yeah, nobody want to see that. But other than that, on the scheduling, yes. The scheduling, I think, is only going to get worse and worse. And as soon as they announce Saudi for the Rumble,
I
know their plan is, I'm telling you, we're gonna pretty much, there's gonna be a year, I give it probably like 2 or 3 years, where every single PLE or pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, is pretty much overseas or in Saudi Arabia. Like, once you give the big four away to overseas, it's done for. And the problem with doing these overseas, now you have to do these weird dates, and it got to be these weird times.
They got to match up for everything that you're trying to align with the story and the talent who's on part-time schedules, like John Cena, who's on his farewell tour.
Exactly. Then especially if you don't book that week, that full week in that place, now your go home shows got to be taped.
And that's a slippery slope to go down, considering the social media era where everything is being shown.
Especially your go home show. That's the problem with it. Like, if you want to tape shows here and there, like, I don't care NXT's tape, but like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find because I've seen it on Twitter. For those, it's called X. Just some of the cram dates for the upcoming schedules for next year and moving on to the end of this year. It's pretty wild. And I know because Triple H is going to get blamed for this and all this stuff, which he gets blamed for the releases, and when it's not his actual job to do the releases, that's I think that's a Nick Khan and whoever's at that table with him decision. But I just believe this is just all about the money. Like, I love SummerSlam. SummerSlam don't need to be 2 nights. That's just purely for the money. And I'm okay. I'm not mad at you guys trying to make as much money and maximize the most opportunity you can. However, I then don't want to hear about people getting released because of budget cuts. Like, the shit's not adding up. You're making all this money every PLE, especially the big 4. I'm hearing about sold out arenas. You're charging $500-$600 for a 30th row seat that you can pay half the price for to be almost upfront in AEW for. You're charging all this money, $40,000 for a WrestleMania seat. I remember when they told Randy Orton was told that he's like, I wouldn't have paid for that. But yet you get all these budget cuts, and then you're cramming in. See, the beautiful part about wrestling, and Ty, you could disagree or agree with me with this point. The beautiful thing about wrestling is the storytelling, and when it's done properly, and fans can invest into the 2 main talents, or however many talents is aligned with the story. When you're having Saturday Night Main Event one weekend, then you follow up with Worlds Collide, and you have Money in the Bank on the same day or a day apart, and then you have another pay-per-view after that in another 2 weeks. You don't give them time to really fully indulge in writing creative stories for their main talent and mid cards. Everything has to be rushed. Like, I feel like they rushed to bring Cody back when they didn't need to. But I'll let you go continue.
Nah, I agree with that, because the way I think about it, what was so peak years ago was that, you remember NXT used to have Takeover on Saturday, pay-per-view on Sunday. You know, to me, that was just way better, and it just felt normal, you know. But I like what AEW pretty much does, because they only technically have 4 or 5 pay-per-views throughout the year. However, yeah, Dynamite's gonna be a special thing here and there.
Like
You know,
Fighter Fest or things like that. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's perfect, because you're pretty much, showing importance. But the problem with this long-term storylines is we have so much pay-per-views, so we're seeing these guys fight over a course of 3-4 pay-per-views. I don't want to see that. Because on top of that, we're already going to see them fight on Raw or SmackDown eventually in between that. So I just think it's too much. I feel like every feud right now feels like a best of 7 series. I think that's too much. It just, like, I think they only get creative when it comes to, like, certain parts of the year.
Roman.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Besides the top talent, because
Yeah.
you can obviously tell they have favorites. They take their time to really work out certain people's stories and stuff. But I just feel like certain times during the year, like on our way to Money in the Bank, I feel like the product's usually better. They're thinking, especially with these qualifying matches, and we're actually seeing real stuff. But I feel like there's certain parts during the year, especially at from end of Royal Rumble to begin to WrestleMania. I just feel like it's a drag, and I just feel like it's pure, like it's pretty much like, I can't even think of the word right now, because they, like,
It's
I don't know,
draining.
yeah, it's
It's
draining.
almost,
Like,
I'll be honest. I've been watching the product as of late, and I've been finding myself time and time again, more times than not, finding something else to watch at times, because it's so repetitive, and it's nothing fresh, and it's like I don't see I can already see the direction they're going with certain storylines and talent. For example, Judgment Day. You had this similar storyline with Liv involving herself with Dom to get back at Rhea, and we see how that fell out. We're running the same story with Liv and Roxanne. And you add Raquel because they're tag champions. And it seems like this is a way for them to push Liv out the group to be a face and have the rest of them be heels potentially. But it's like, okay, it's not a bad idea, but it's the same story. There's no real interest in it for most of the fans because we know how this is going to turn out. And you're going to bury talent by doing that because Liv as a face, she's not going to lose a lot of her matches against Roxanne. And then you have young talent who you're trying to build up. They're going to be starting behind the 8-ball because of that. So again, I just don't agree with how TKO, from what we're seeing. Again, this is our assumption. Things could be different. I just don't agree with how they're handling some of the situations with the talent, the PLEs. I feel like Triple H doesn't have as much as control as he would like as far as the PLE dates and things like that nature, because also you got to take account the venue, if the venue can be used at this time, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's not looking too good. That's right. It's stable now, but further down the line, it's not looking really too good in my opinion. Real quick, we're gonna transition out of WWE and go right into AEW.
Hold on. Before that, it was just announced 10 minutes ago. Carlito's also being released when his contract ends, or whatever that means. So it seems
I wish could be surprised, but I already knew he was getting released because they don't even use him besides him just saying something funny at the end of a segment.
That's what I'm saying. So it seems like they are cutting the comedic guys that they just use for the comedy.
Which, again, it sucks because also people's not asking to see Carlito every week, even though we would have loved to if you gave him a proper push, because he didn't really need to be in Judgment Day, for being honest. Especially with Worlds Collide being next week, who wouldn't want to see Carlito? Especially if you know the Colon family, who wouldn't want to see him on the card? But at the same time, some of those comedians that they cut in, like a Carlito and R-Truth, they make the best segments during the filler of the weekly shows. So, I mean, wishing Carlito nothing but the best. Yeah. Not Fernando. He definitely wasn't doing nothing, but that's my point and Ty's point, where we're fearful of the talent that we all love coming up from NXT or being signed. It's so many already good talent on the main roster for both brands that's not being used. You're adding more talent there. Someone's not going to get used, and then someone's going to get released and be wasted their time. Like my guy Carmelo Hayes, who should have been in Money in the Bank, but we're not going to talk much about that. Congrats to Andrade, but I don't know what they're doing with Carmelo. Like, honestly, you got Braun in this stable. You have Tiffany with the belt, which is dry as hell right now, if I'm being honest. I don't know what they're doing with that. And then you have Melo just sitting here with the Miz. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a moment. Let's transition to AEW. AEW had a great show this past week. We have our own Heart winners in Mercedes Moné and Hangman Adam Page. And they will be the number one contenders going into All In. Moxley versus Page, Monet versus Storm. Ty, what is your thoughts on the matchups, and what was your thought of the recent promo that was cut with Hangman, Swerve, Osprey? Then of course you had the banger promo, which I was ready for them to fight at the moment, between Mercedes and Tony Storm.
Well, yeah, let me tackle the easy one first. So pretty much Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, as this feud goes, a lot of people are going to be like, they should be main eventing.
I want them to main event, if I'm being honest.
And I told you before I wasn't the biggest fan of doing this match. because I felt like it was too early. But the fact that now we know Mariah May's leaving, you have to pull the trigger on Mercedes Moné being your world champion. Because I feel like they would have to invest into someone else. And it would take some time to invest in anyone else not named that those two people. Because it looks like Tony Khan still doesn't want to put Athena on Dynamite. But other than that, I thought the promo was great. I'm
That was one of the best promos of the year. But I'm not gonna lie, that was probably Mercedes' best promo work in AEW.
Of course,
Like,
and it's because I feel like she meshes well. Obviously with other great talent. Because I felt like her feud with Athena in this has felt so different than any feud she had so far in AEW. You can just tell the difference. Now, for the men's Owen Hart, I was surprised with Paige going over. And it makes me wonder, does Paige 100% go over Mox? Because I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about that right now.
And I'm loving the storytelling they're telling with this, because I'm gonna let you finish out why I think this is a great question to have going into All In.
Well, I just thought it was like, if it was Mox versus Osprey, I know Mox ain't going over. But if we're really telling this story about like Osprey not winning the
I was gonna bring that
biggest.
up. I was sitting there looking for it.
He has won literally everything: casino battle royals, all this. But when it comes to number one contendership for the AEW world title, he never wins it. So it's so much layers into it, and it's still good to see Swerve still technically in the title picture, because I think all these guys are in the world title picture. So it could pretty much go any way. My only thing is I just want the belt off of Mox. That's it. So yeah. I don't care how they tell it. I just don't want Mox to keep holding the belt.
I would say this is a good problem for AEW to have, with all these top tier talent in the men's division, to be able to both be not only be in the title picture, but could tell a story and then have matches that offset each other, yet still intertwine with each other, because the biggest prize is the AEW World title for the men, at least. I love the promo. To your point with Osprey, I just don't think he's ready. Let me rephrase that. I don't think AEW is ready to put the strap on him. And for whatever reason it may be, I don't know. I just think they probably still view a Swerve, a Hangman, slightly above him right now. And I feel like they can still tell a story with him without the belt to even make it more fulfilling when he does actually win that title, which I think is in the near future. You still got Josh Alexander, who's doing what he's doing on the side, but at some point he's going to be able to be a single star and kind of creep his way into that title scene. And we still got our buddy Darby Allin that's going to have to come back. So that's that. As far as your point about Hangman potentially losing, I can see that being the case, but it won't be clean. Obviously, Moxley's and the Death Rider is going to be involved, but I could also see an accidental situation where Swerve gets involved or Osprey, and it costs Hangman the title. So that's something to look out for. Maria Garcella says with a comment, Kyle Fletcher. Yes, Kyle Fletcher is another person to definitely mention, and that could be in the title picture. But speaking of him, actually, because Maria just reminded me. Todd, did you see that nasty
Yep,
spot?
I was literally about to talk about that, and
Oh my
I
god!
like
Like,
I know
and for those
I'm not
watching,
I'm
the
not
spot
gonna
we're
sit.
referring
Yeah,
to
yeah,
is the
yeah.
Adam
Explain
Cole
it.
uh, apron butt bomb, where Fletcher was a little too far off from the apron, and he clipped the back of Cole's head on that apron so bad. Look, I was just praying that Adam was going to be okay because we had dealt with enough injuries with him. Also, he's been going through a lot with the injuries and personal issues with his situation. I won't say the person's name because that's private matter, but if you know, you know. And he's looked like he's been losing a lot more weight too, which is not a bad thing, but he doesn't look right.
He was
So I
already
was
skinny. No, that's a bad thing.
I just I just was glad he was okay to finish the match, but that spot was nasty.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna call. I'm not gonna be one of those guys who like Kyle Fletcher's unsafe, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
because he Kyle Fletcher. I've seen plenty of his matches to know how he wrestles. My only criticism to that spot is we know who Adam Cole is, and we know what Adam Cole has been through. So it's like
should never agreed to that spot.
ever ever since Adam Cole debuted in AEW, he has spent more time recovering than actually fighting. So if I'm a wrestler and I'm fighting Adam Cole, I'm gonna make sure, and especially since he's the champion now, I'm gonna make sure that you know we can keep this guy healthy in the ring. At least do the best of my part. So I would have never done that. If he wanted to do a buckle bomb, I think in the corner of the ring post would have been better rather than the outside. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Fernando with a comment. Mistakes happen. Wrestling may be scripted, but the risks are real. And I'm glad you pointed it out, Fernando, because I have a lot of people that I'm cool with, family even too, who talks down on the sport and be like, oh, it's fake and all this stuff. I'm like, listen, you go out there and you go tell Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling's fake. About how he had to spend hours in that surgery room on a broken neck. Or how about Triple H torn his quad? Not once, twice. Or Seth Rollins tearing his knee up to shreds in his prime, his youthful prime, I should say. I think he's still in his prime. So obviously, yes, the winner and loser is determined, but you still got to go out there and perform the moves. And I don't know, for those who haven't been in the ring is not all that comfortable to be landing and taking bumps on. It's wood, literally. Then you have the cushion over it with the padding, but that's it. So these people are out there wrestling daily, putting their bodies on the line for us, for our amusement. So I would never disrespect the sport that way. But and to your point, Fernando, yes, that's why the risk sometimes outweighs the reward in this sense. But we are thankful for those athletes nonetheless. Back to the Storm and Mercedes. This is, if this was a WrestleMania season, I love Roman and all. I need to see Tony Mercedes. Like I want to see blood in this match too. If I'm being honest, this match might be the match of the year. The promo to Fernando's comment about Tony making the long line of trains, and Mercedes talk about her hips isn't wide enough. Like everything about this promo was just chef's kiss, and it's making me fall back in love with AEW again. If I'm being honest, especially during the time where WWE is starting to get kind of stale with their main stories and things of that nature. Then you got the Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate. I'm sorry, MJF is a part of that group. I can't wait to see where they go with this. Ty, if you had a prediction, what do you think is gonna be the next step for that Hurt Syndicate storyline? With now that MJF is officially in the group.
Well, I think it has to involve the world title. I think that's the ultimate goal. Um, So I don't know who. Like me personally, I was thinking this the other day. How I want it to be told. I want Bobby Lashley to take the belt off of MJF, and that's how he gets kicked out. In my personal opinion. However, I already know Tony Khan books the world title scene years out. Um, so I don't think MJF is going to be in the Hurt Syndicate for that long. But I just think it has to involve titles and everything. Something has to be at stake, you know. Um, and what I was talking about a couple shows ago, especially, is like I want there to be a point where MJF is pretty much like, hey Bobby, stop doing these tag teams. Let Shelton and whoever do these tag teams, then we all go get gold, together, pretty much. So you'll have pretty much Bobby Lashley get mad that he feels like MJF is pushing him to be the mid Carter, you know, rather than thinking of him as a world champion. I think that's a better way to tell the storyline. How I think they'll do it, I don't know. It's hard to say because you don't want to end it too quick, but then you don't want it to drag out and just be pointless. So it's hard to tell.
I agree. My bad. I can't believe I just seen this score. A professional basketball team lost by 48 points. This is ridiculous. But anyway, I agree with all your points. And Fernando, to your comment with Alexander coming in and getting MJF out, that wouldn't be bad. I think that elevates both sides, in fact, because obviously MJF is a made man when it comes to AEW. And then bringing along the lines of a Cedric Alexander, who we know his history, if you're a wrestling fanatic like ourselves, I know the backstory with him being with the original Hurt Business in WWE during the pandemic, him coming in and taking on one of AEW's best and lead guys to join a dominant faction will only solidify him further. The only problem is, I think long term he loses if him and MJF go at it, obviously, because MJF's going to want to get his get back. But yeah, to that come, I would love to see that overall. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts on that. With the Hurt Syndicate, to your point, Ty, I don't disagree with anything you said. I'm curious to see what they do with them for All In, and this is why I think AEW has me. They have me my ears to the streets because I believe All In is going to be a really, really good pay per view this year. And I'm excited to see what they'll put out on the card. But we all know this, Ty. It's going to be like a 4-hour show. That's going to be my only issue. They're going to have like 10, 12 matches for no reason. But any other final thoughts on AEW in general before we move back to WWE?
Hey man, I'm one of those people, bro. I don't care if the pay-per-view's 4 hours because they usually do it on a Saturday. That's why I usually like it. When it's on a Sunday, I understand, got work.
Right.
But I like it because, out of 12 matches, realistically, you probably don't want to watch 4 or 5. You feel me?
I'm leaning on about 6, maybe 7.
Nah, sometimes they do got some horrendous cards where it's like
I
I
might
only
take
like
a
3
nap.
matches.
I might take a little nap in between a couple of those matches.
You feel me? So I mean AEW, yeah, I think AEW, a lot of people feel like AEW's it's getting better. I think it's mainly because of what we were literally just talking about earlier in the show. TKO and WWE just watering down the product. That's pretty much it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving right back to WWE. We're gonna get into the ranker. Shout out to the ranker. We disagree with a lot of your list. We have 2 lists that we're gonna talk about from the ranker. One is going to be your top 25 female WWE wrestlers right now, and the best current WWE heels. So we're speeding through this because we're going to talk about the Money in the Bank match card thus far and our predictions for that, as well as Worlds Collide, and then we're going to wrap up the show from there. So I'm not wasting more time. Let me share my screen. We're going to start off with the top 25 female WWE wrestlers currently. So here we go. I'm just gonna scroll down fast. So that
I'm gonna just make a prediction right now. I think Rhea Ripley's probably won. And Liv Morgan's in the top 5. Do I agree with those? I'll let you know when we cross there, but that's what I think.
Oh, I thought it was already. So we know who's 20. I thought I went past it already. So here's 25. This is way too low.
This is disrespectful. I'm not the biggest Nia Jax fan, but this is disrespectful, and especially I just saw number 24's name.
Me too.
I feel like that whoever made this list clearly hates Nia Jax.
And I will also add on that this was made May 15th, 2025. This was just last month. When we get to the top 15 heels in the company for WWE, that was updated today. So, but yes, Fernando with a comment. Stephanie is pound for pound the best woman wrestler in WWE. I might have to have some pushback on that. I'll disagree, but I think I can make an argument for maybe a couple other women. But Stephanie's definitely up there.
If it ain't 24, Bianca Belair, I ain't hearing it.
Me neither. 24, Maxine Dupree. I'm not gonna be disrespectful. I'm gonna be nice. I like Maxine, but we're gonna move right along.
She's improved.
She ain't 25. I'll say this. Hey, this might be nasty. I'll take B Fab over Maxine. I'm taking B Fab over Maxine. Overall, I think Maxine's a little better in the ring. Not a little. Because B Fab moved a little too slow to be that athletic. But as an overall, I might go B Fab. But I know that sounds nasty time. We're gonna be respectful today. We're gonna be respectful. Moving right along. 23. Tegan Knox, who's not even in the company no more. Who's barely used. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna be rude. I'm not gonna. And by the way, this has no disrespect to the athletes. I mean, this ain't about the athletes. It's about who made this list. 22. Candice LeRae. Now, I'm not mad at this if they used her more.
Yeah, she just doesn't fight.
Other than having used her, this is a little too high.
I mean, they used her recently. Yeah. But they need to do better, in my opinion.
I don't understand how do you have someone as their Candice LeRae as the lackey to Nia Jax at one point in the year be ahead of Nia Jax, who was the women's champion. But anyway, I'm gonna be nice. At 21, we have Raquel Gonzalez. Well, Rodriguez now. Not a bad spot. I'm not mad at this.
Yeah, it's not bad.
At 20, they used the old photo. Shayna Baszler. This disappoints me more than ever. Yes, Maria said Maxine. I agree with this next comment, Maria. Zelina should better be on this list, and she's definitely should be higher than Candice. And this is based. I did Candice based on what they've been doing this year. Obviously, I think Candice is a better in-ring talent, but Zelina should be ahead of Maxine for sure on this list. But I'm disappointed with Shayna Baszler being at 20 because I think they criminally underutilized her. She should have been one of the top 10 wrestlers in that company, in the world, if I'm being honest. But wish her nothing but the best. At 19, we got whenever wants to load. See?
Gotta clip that. Gotta clip that. I think it,
I didn't even see my face. I was on the website, but I just knew. Like, no, bro.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, can they get more disrespectful than putting Nia Jax at 25? But you put Sonya Deville over
Pure Fusion Collective.
Okay.
She hasn't. I'm gonna be nice. That's my saying for this ranking. I'm gonna be nice. Okay, 18. We already seen it, but rightfully so. Kairi Sane, which I think
too low.
If they use her, she should be much higher than this. But I think even still it's too low. I agree. She should be at least in the top 15 at worst. Fernando, I agree with you. She gets a lot of unnecessary. Well, I'll backtrack that. I won't say it's unnecessary because her first stint, she was literally out there hurting people. Like she was not safe to work with a lot of times. Since she has come back, she has been phenomenal. In-ring promos, how they booked her as the big guy, the big girl, whatever you want to call it. It's been perfect. The only thing is, as of late, like the last month and a half, 2 months, really going into Mania, they haven't used her how she should be used. And I'm hoping whenever they do this draft, they'll put her somewhere where she actually can be dominant because there's no reason why she should keep losing matches. All right, 17. I'll be nice. Moving on. 16.
I love Dakota Kai. So
I love me some Dakota Kai. But and again, it's not where she's placed as who she's ahead of. Because I think 17 is right for her. Dakota Kai, I think she should have still been with the company. And she should have been, in my opinion, I would have had her been an inaugural women's Intercontinental Champion. I think she earned that. But
Lyra
at 16. I don't know how you feel about this, Ty, but I believe it's something about Lyra that's just too green for me. That I can't. Something's missing with her. I need some aggression. Something. Maybe this feud with Becky might help with that, but I'm just not fully invested in her yet, as I want to be. Could be those damn wings. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not. Something's not clicking for me. Well, I'll let you.
I agree 100%. I feel like when she started in NXT and to now, I feel like too much, pretty much the same. No change at all.
Lyra should be higher. I would probably put her again, just because it's only WWE.
I wouldn't put her over Kairi Sane.
I wouldn't either.
But I would can't think of 15 other women off the top of my head right now. But
so you can name 15?
I don't think I can name 15. But we'll have to see who's ahead of her,
Yeah, I agree. I think because this is only a WWE list, I'll probably say she should be around as high as 8 or 7 to as low as around like 13.
8? Nah, I think the highest.
You think there's 7 women? Well, I could backtrack. There might be 7 women actually.
What?
There might be. But okay, so yeah, I'll say at least 11 or 10 will be the highest.
I'd personally take the 4 women from NXT that's getting called up or already been called up over Lyra, in my personal opinion.
Fair enough. Hopefully they're on this list. Again, this was made last month, so they should actually be on the list. But considering we had Maxine Dupree and Sonya Deville and others on the list, I won't be surprised if they're not on this list. At 15, we got Jade Cargill.
Okay, so I wouldn't take Jade over Lyra.
Me neither.
So yeah, I gotta stand that. She is getting a little better, but
yo, that Black Hole Slam she did on Friday night was beautiful. I was like, okay, Abyss been in the bag putting in some work. Well, Jade done added that to the bag. I was like, all right, I see you, Jade. But I think 15 is good for her. I think that's a decent spot, considering what she's been able to do so far. 14. Chelsea Green. I'm not mad at this.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think she would I like to see in the main title scene a few times. Yeah, I think she can do some good, a small program, a thing or two here. Sure, I think she was perfect for the mid card with the Hill, her get antics and Hill stuff. So I can't wait to see her get another run with the title. I feel like she can be for the women's US title what JBL was for the undisputed title when he had his run. That's what I could see that being. Fernando says Jade Cargill is a female Goldberg at wrestling skills. She's a little better than that. I ain't gonna lie, because Goldberg and his feet was
I'll say this:
was good. She's a little bit more athletic from as far as the
Jade never ended Bret Hart's career. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh no, that was nasty. Chelsea Green is excellent. She should still be the women's champ. I'm not mad at Zelina winning it, because I think at some point Chelsea will get the belt back, and it was nice to see Zelina get her moment. But yeah, I agree. That belt should be with Chelsea Green really, really soon, sooner than later, because you even can do a Piper Niven storyline if they break them up, or maybe even Alba Fire.
Well, actually,
and Julia.
Yeah, it looks like it was teased on SmackDown that Julia's looking at that title. And I think it's a no-brainer to give it to Julia over Zelina. But
it will be a perfect way to fill her into the brand.
Just don't do it too quick, because don't disrespect Zelina.
You don't want to bury Zelina too fast. Carmella at 13 is ridiculous. She hasn't been in the company for like over a year.
Get out of here.
I'm not.
This is why we hate Rinker, bro.
me seeing this tells me that I almost guarantee some, if not all, four of those women you referred to from NXT is probably not going to make this list. Some of them might, but I don't think all four will, because seeing Carmella there clearly tells me Nikki Cross is not top 12. She don't even wrestle. All she do is sit on the announce table and jump on somebody right now from the Y6, which I'm starting to be like whatever with the Y6, because they haven't done much with them. I know they have some nagging injuries, and I'm happy to see them back, but they need to pick up something with them. Julia's my girl. Now, I love Julia more than I like Stephanie when it comes to their in-ring stuff. Physical features, they're both beautiful, so I'm not gonna say much about that. Miles Bourne, you're a lucky man. Congratulations to you. But number 11. Number 10.
It's the OG, man.
Number 10. I'm gonna be nice. Okay. All right. I'm cool with that. Naomi. As long as she doesn't do her temper tantrum fighting again like she did a couple weeks ago, where she's not hitting nobody, even if she's on top of a superstar. I'm cool with that. Naomi's perfect at 10. All right. Number 9. Here we go.
All right, let's turn this off, man. Let's go to the Hills list.
How is she at? Okay. Fernando, yeah, I'm convinced, because you can't name 2 wrestlers better than her in WWE. Like, I don't understand. Okay. Naomi's winning. I hope Naomi wins it, because if you remember, Fernando, when we talked about Mania and I wanted Naomi to win against Jade, this would be a good payoff for her putting people over to give her the belt. Caution in the bank. I'm not mad at it. We're going to speed through this now, because this is just bullshit. I'm sorry. Bianca at 9 is horrific. Okay, let's speak. Because I'm not the biggest Charlotte fan. Neither are you, Ty. But we're not going to say and act like there's 7 women better than Charlotte in the ring. She has been a step slower since she came back. I will agree with that because of the knee injury. but Charlotte can go. Like her at 8, I don't know about that.
Yeah, nah, I feel you. I feel like she's still top 5. But I'll probably have her at 5. Bailey's always underrated, so I'm not surprised to see her at
Me
7 on
neither.
this list. But I don't
She's underrated in everything.
I don't think
I
there's
mean
6
everything.
women better than Bailey.
I love some Bailey. Bianca should be top 3. Bianca should be 1 if I'm being honest.
Bro,
I've been saying that.
I
I like
wouldn't
her
be
over
mad.
Rhea personally.
I wouldn't be mad if someone made the argument the last 3, Bailey, Charlotte, and Bianca should be the top 3.
No
I
Rhea?
wouldn't be mad.
You want to put Rhea in top 3?
Nah, I'm saying I wouldn't be mad at the
Oh.
argument.
Okay.
That wouldn't be my top 3, but I think Rhea's 1 on this list anyways.
See, Oscar being here is not the issue because Oscar is definitely, when she's healthy in wrestling, she's a top 5, top 6 wrestler. The problem is she hasn't wrestled. And considering, and you're going to see once we get to number 1, considering that this was made last month, I would have thought this would have been the case. But okay. Top 5. I'm not even mad. This is probably the best thing they did on this list because
I don't
she
think I have
earned it.
Liv in my top 5.
Huh?
I don't think I have Liv.
I might not
my top
either.
5.
I might have her at like 6, maybe, if I had
Yeah.
to do a list. But her being at 5, I'm not mad at because she earned it. Becky Lynch, y'all gotta stop this Becky Hogan stuff, man. Y'all are nasty. She is not that man. Y'all are nasty. But nah, I'll assume Becky Lynch might not even make this list at the pace we're at, which is disrespectful. I spoke too soon. Okay. Becky Lynch at 4. I'm not mad at that. Her and Lyra put on a banger match. I think they probably had the best match, almost the best match on the last PLE card. It's going blank on the name for me. Can't think of the name, but
I don't got Becky over Bailey
in
and
ring,
Bianca.
I don't have Becky over Bailey. I mean Bianca. I might have her over Bailey. I think you're splitting hairs, but he said Liv is too high. Fair enough. And well ranked. All right, number 3. Alexa Bliss? Yeah, Ty, I'm sorry to tell you, man. Those girls in NXT, they're not on this list.
Yeah, nah, I knew that at what, 11? Which one was Carmella? That's when I knew.
Number 2. Oh, yeah, nah. I might have Liv at like 6 or 7. Io's in my top 5.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah,
I ain't gonna
Liv
lie
at
to
5.
you. I can make the argument Io above Bianca, bro. I could make the argument.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm it depends if we talking just strictly in ring or overall. Because they haven't gave Io Sky the opportunities, that they gave Bianca. But I feel like Bianca well-round is one of the best.
Yeah, overall, I think Bianca and Rhea is like the cream of the crop. I just believe, to your point, they haven't given Io enough of a fair shake. And it's the same thing with, Tiffany Stratton's not even on this list.
Yeah, so I don't think this was made last month.
What the hell's going? And see, my thing is, right, we're post-Mania now. Why hasn't Io and Stratton felt like champions the last 2-3 weeks? I almost forgot the belts existed, if I'm being honest. Other than that recent segment they just had with Stratton, it's like, what are y'all doing creative with the title, with the women's title?
Yeah, it goes with TKO watered down the product. We're gonna get into the Money in the Bank card in a couple, but like, if you look at that card, it's like disrespectful to me. You feel me? I feel like growing up watching Money in the Bank, things were way better. we just got the matches now, and we just got filler. I'm like, there's so many titles to not be defended. You know,
And it's sad because, like you said, with all the titles we have, but I said this a couple weeks ago. You got all these titles because TKO wanted them, and the fans kept asking for it. But now you're not booking them, so that now the titles are useless. And you keep there's no sense of having a 5-6 card PLE. You have one woman's match on the card. Well, all the woman talent you have, there should be no reason for that. It's not. I don't want to hear no excuses. There is none. And of course, we have Rhea Ripley at 1. I feel like she's in her John Cena stage when it comes to popularity. I always said I like Bianca over Rhea. And that's splitting hairs, obviously, because Rhea's a damn good talent all around. In ring, promo, she's solid. She's not a better promo than Bianca, but all in all, this is the list. And let's look at the date again. Updated, so it's updated actually. May 15th, 2025. There's no way in hell you updated this list last month and you still had Carmella, Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler on his Maxine Dupree on his list. And you didn't have Tiffany Stratton. You didn't have Stephanie Valkyrie, Julia. Hell, even if she didn't have that much, freaking Jordan Grace could have been on this list.
Yeah, over a couple of names we saw on that list. Yeah.
Becky's number 4 in the Force Horsewomen's rankings. Charlotte Mercedes. Nah,
Becky.
I disagree. Becky's number 1. When you look at everything they've done, I'll be honest, the one that's going to be at 4, and I'm only talking WWE. Sasha, and you know Sasha's my favorite. She might be at 4. If I'm being unbiased.
How she was booked though.
And that's my point. It's like I think Sasha's the best out of all of them when it comes to in-ring work.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. We're ranking them.
But if you're ranking them all with in-ring work, the promo,
I'm not ranking their WWE careers because Sasha didn't even win single.
Every time she won the belt, she always lost it the very next defense almost.
Exactly. So like you can't do much with that.
So, and to your point, I don't know what else can we rank it off of, because it has to be off of what they've done in WWE. Obviously, their talent too. They're all talented. Obviously, the worst promo out of the 4 is Charlotte.
I'm saying between the 4 women in ring career wise.
Oh, then it's probably.
I'm putting Charlotte at 4.
It's probably it might be Charlotte. It might be, yeah. But if I had to rank them unbiasedly with the total package, for me, how I rank it, I'm looking at the in-ring work, promo, the whole, and what you did, everything that combines with what you did in WWE. Number 1 for me, will be Becky.
Yeah, because she had the best run. At all.
She's the only woman that you could arguably say was the best person in the company and for their time period. So I'm gonna give Becky her just due with that. Second, obviously, if you're looking at the accolades, it will have to be Charlotte. But for me, I might slickly, because I'm biased, and this is me being biased, obviously, I'll probably put Sasha at 2. Because I just love Sasha that much. But again, that's just me being biased. But yes, Maria, I agree with you. This list was mid, basura, whack, anything you name it. That's what it was. So real quickly, we're gonna get right into the best heels list, and then we're gonna get into the Money in the Bank Worlds Collide, and we're gonna wrap up the show. With the best heels list, it's the top 15. This was updated today, so we ain't gotta worry about. Hopefully, we ain't gotta worry about.
Well, I don't know what's their definition of updated. So if we see like,
all right, let's get right into it. Number 15, they have Nia Jax.
What?
Okay.
Oh, is it current heels right now?
Yeah, right now.
Okay. I have to see the rest of the list. All right. I'm not going to speak
15 is
on that.
Nia.
But Naya coming in last on the rankings back-to-back list, which is
Kind of
hilarious.
can't tell me it's not hate. We'll see though. At 14, we have Logan Paul. I don't know. Is this
Probably
hate?
low.
I double say it because I think people really, really hate him. So I don't know. This might be a little too low for Logan. 13, we have. Okay, I'm happy to see my boy on the ranking at least. But
At least someone's showing him love. I don't know how I feel about this one.
yeah, me neither. I don't have much words for that, and that's rare because I always got something to say. But all right, at 12, I think this is too low.
Yeah, it's super low.
He was doing his best work as far as character wise. Hell, you can even argue in ring, sure. When it comes to the in ring psychology, I think this is too low for Kevin Owens.
I feel like Kevin Owens has every time he's been a heel, it's just been amazing.
It's been his best work. His best work is as a heel. I want to wish him the speedy recovery and best health. Obviously, given his neck situation. So we love you, Kevin. We'll see you soon, hopefully. At 11, she's not even. Is she even a heel anymore? Like,
I thought she was a face.
I'll be honest though. When she was a heel, this is perfect because I don't like Tiffany Stratton as a face. I think she's meant to be a heel. If I'm being honest. The annoying, irritating blondie, like it fits perfect for her.
It's literally her character.
Like she screams heel to me. At 10, we have.
I guess that's what happens when you face Charlotte. So
yeah, you have Bronson Reed at 10. Now this, I'm not mad at because especially with him being aligned with Rollins now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Seeing they're together, I would rank the group.
I can't wait to see what they do with him in the near future with this fraction.
He's gonna be the muscle, bro. I'm telling you.
At number 9, Chad Gable. I'm not mad at this. Thank you. Hopefully he could ditch the damn mask because I'm tired of that shit. But all right, number 8.
What are you talking about, bro? That's El Americano Grande. That's not Chad Gable.
Now I will say when it comes to Solo, he is the most funniest heel out of
now he is. He got in his bag. I would say that.
He has me in tears almost every week with something he does with his antics. Like I love it. I just wish they would do more with him because all it's leading to is him eating a pin or him losing in the major feud. Solo deserves better, man. Free Solo.
I don't know. I might. We'll wait till our predictions. I might see something in Solo's future.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. At number 7, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would rank them as a group because I think they're.
I'm nervous about Braun in this group because I feel like this is gonna kind of.
No, I think it's perfect for him. I think it's perfect for him.
I think it can be depending on how they book it because if they book it the way I think it might keep them at an even kill plateau. Well, that's true. Solo father Rikishi was funny. So, and I heard from the stories from the family that Jimmy is the funny one in the family too. So that makes sense. At number 6, Finn Balor. This list was going well until they put Finn on it. I think Finn on the list is not bad. He's just too high. If I'm being honest.
Finn Balor is great at what he does. The problem is he doesn't win.
Literally.
So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that I mean.
Too
My
low.
dog fought too.
Too low.
He's starting to become a face to me. If I'm being honest, he's slowly becoming a face.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're stretching this story out, and I love them for doing that because I thought they was gonna do this Solo Fatu thing early, but I think it's gonna get played.
I think them adding Jeff Cobb was a perfect filler because obviously you're waiting for Tama and Tungaloa to come back too, from their injuries. So
Yeah, we know the bloodline storyline. Every time they need a put filler, they just debut somebody. So
Fernando says Solo and Jeff Cobb is going to turn on Jacob Fatu. Can't wait for it. I cannot wait. I can't wait to see Cobb and Fatu in the ring again. That's going to be money, especially getting the time. At 4, I think he's top 2. Well, I got to see who's in front of him. But Gunther as a heel. See, Gunther as a heel gives me mixed feelings because when they're doing it correctly, he's probably the best heel. Then you have him go to the match, and it's slightly off, and then you have him giving appreciation to like someone like a Pat McAfee, which throws it off. I didn't like that. He should have beat his ass even more, like he said he was going to do in the promo. But Fernando agrees. He thinks Gunther is too low. Let's get at number 3. Dominic Mysterio. I think Dominic's probably top 2. But he's also slowly going to turn it into a face. But he probably has he probably had the biggest, not probably, he did have the biggest heat out of all the heels on this list for like the past year and a half. Like, man, I don't know if they could have put some music background into the arena, but even still, no one had more heat than Dom.
Nah, I feel you.
Number 2.
All right, bro, get out of here.
His running mate, Liv Morgan. I don't agree with this. I agree she should be on the list, but not at 2.
How is she a better heel than Dom if Dom's literally the whole story?
That's true. And that number 1, which I am not mad at this, they got something right. Drew McIntyre, which I hope when he does get back and he's healthy, he will be rewarded at some point with a title run longer than him holding his breath at Mania. So this is the list, and it was updated June 1st. So today. So that is it. Now we're going to get right back into the last few topics, which is the Money in the Bank and, of course, Worlds Collide. So we're going to start off with Worlds Collide. As of right now, the card, we have Lola Vice and Stephanie Valkyrie teaming up against Dallas and Cheek Tormenta in a tag team match on Saturday, June 7th. We also have an exciting fatal 4-way match for the North American title where Laredo Kid, Ray Phoenix, Javon Evans, and Ethan Page. And of course, the headliner, I believe, will be Chad Gable versus El Hido del Vikingo. I've said that wrong. It's all right. My apologies. For the AAA title, which he just won last night against Alberto El Patron. I think that's his name now. Or the Alberto Del Rio, from what I know him as. Anyway, let me see what else is on the card. Oh, of course, we have Pagano and Psycho Clown with El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. versus El Legado del Fantasma in a 6-man tag match. But that is the card so far. I don't know if they're going to add anything else, but it's shaping to be a very exciting, fast-paced card. Ty, what will be your predictions on the winners for these matches?
I think Legado loses. I think this is when they turn on Santos Escobar. It'll be perfect for the AAA talent. So I got everyone in AAA winning that match. World title, I got Vikingo winning.
I agree.
But shit, man. WWE just took the TNA World title, man.
Chad Gable winning the AAA title I wouldn't be mad at it because he deserves a title. It just sucks that it'll have to be that.
But I can also see he beats Chad Gable, but he loses to El Grande Americano, bro. So you never know. Fatal 4-way, I think Ethan Page is gonna retain. I would be very surprised if he loses.
Yeah, I'm also surprised that they have Ray Phoenix
Because
in the
in
match.
my opinion, if he was gonna lose the belt in that fatal 4-way, you should have just had Ricky Starks lose the belt at the fatal 4-way and not be pinned. But that's just me.
I'm also surprised that they put Ray. Well, I'm not surprised given it's a AAA of card, but Ray Phoenix being in this match was kind of interesting to see. But it's just probably someone they needed to fill in the spot.
Then I got Stephanie and Lola.
Nice to see Lola get this rub. It's nice. I'm interested to see this card and this matches because obviously I'm not too familiar with all of the AAA talent.
Yeah,
There's
but
a few.
this is pretty much going to be NXT going forward. So
Yeah.
it's going to put eyes on people. So
Yep. All right. So
am I missing a match?
no, those are all the matches.
Oh, that was all the matches.
I agree with all the predictions. I think Chad loses. I believe Ethan Page keeps the belt. I think actually Stephanie and Lola loses this match. I think Lola turns on her possibly, or there might be some interference. And I also agree with you with Legado de Fantasma losing and Berto leaving the group. I also can see a world where Legado de Fantasma wins and they cheat and Berto's not agreeing with it, and then eventually he gets kicked out the group as well. So I can see that going both ways. So that is the card. That show is June 7th. Again, Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now, let's get into the what is official currently for the Money in Bank card. We only have 4 matches as of right now. We have Lyra versus Becky, where if Becky wins, Lyra has to raise her hand. We have Cody and Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and John Cena. You have the women's Money in the Bank match where you have Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, and after tomorrow, you have Stephanie Valkyrie in that match as well. Because I don't see them announcing Valkyrie being into the main roster in a qualifying match for her to lose. So I think that will be the women's Money in the Bank match. And then you have the men's. You have LA Knight, Penta, Rollins, Solo, Andrade, who just won on Friday night, and it's going to be CM Punk because I don't see CM Punk losing this match either, especially considering who's in the qualifying match with him tomorrow night and the story that they're trying to tell. So that is the card as of now. I'll run off my predictions really quickly. Real quick, Fernando says Bayley interferes and costs Becky the match, and Lyra goes up 3-0. I would love that so you can tell the feud between Bayley and Becky going into the SummerSlam programming. So that would be nice to see. My predictions for the men's Money in the Bank match, Rollins is winning the match. I ain't got nothing else to say with that. Rollins is going to end up winning. For the women's, with Valkyrie being in the match, Naomi, Julia, Roxanne, Rhea, Alexa Bliss, I'm going with Naomi. I would like to see Naomi win. But I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to Rhea. I would not be surprised. For the tag match, Cena and Logan Paul's winning this match. And for Lyra and Becky, I think Becky wins the match. I think Bayley comes out, tries to help Lyra, and she actually costs Lyra the match. And that's how Becky wins. So those are my predictions for the Money in the Bank. I'll let you go ahead, Ty, and say your piece. And your interesting take that you said you had for the men's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, I'll save that for last. So the Becky Lyra, I think Becky's gonna win. I'll be very surprised if Becky loses, unless she's really trying to, fight those Becky Hogan allegations. So I see her getting the belt. That's this whole point, you know. we see what they did at Mania, lost the belts and turned, and she's not gonna win the belt. That would be a crazy story to tell. Be good for Lyra though, but that would be a crazy story. For the tag team match, I'm mad they're having this match. Honestly,
I
I don't
agree
know.
with
I don't
you.
know why the world titles are not being defended.
You got the champions looking more so. I'm more so mad for Jay than Cena. I can understand Cena. He should be defending the title. This would have been a perfect Punk Cena match potentially to kind of go back with the history. But yeah, Jay should definitely be defending the title. You're not helping his case as a champion by doing this.
Yeah, so I feel like, I think I'm gonna go with the faces. I think Cody and Jay wins, especially Cody returning pretty much. Like I think he'll win that. Um then for the women's money in the bank, I think I think both money in the banks, the lineup is just like perfect, low key. Um because especially in the women's, as long as they don't give it to Rhea, I'm fine with anyone else winning that money in the bank. But I think it's probably Naomi needs it the most. But I think they do Stephanie Vaquer.
Really?
Yes. Because she is going to be a menace. I'm telling you, she's gonna be a heel. And rather than have her pretty much go the Julia route, and go fight Lyra or something, I think she's gonna be in the world title picture.
So wait, you think Valkyrie is going to be a heel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's her best work.
I have never seen her as a heel, so I'll be excited to see that if I'm being completely honest.
You feel me? So, and well, she's gonna be on. But the problem is with these Money in the Banks, it's hard to tell because especially we don't know when they're doing this draft.
They would already had it by now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm confused why they're calling up all this talent and putting them on these shows. By the time we have the draft, like what they staying on the same brand or what? So it's gonna be hard to tell. But I think they'll give it to Stephanie. But I do want to see Naomi win. And for the men's, to be honest, I think it's between Solo and Seth Rollins
Why Solo?
because I think it's perfect for him and it's perfect for the story because pretty much Solo went to go grab pretty much he pretty much did the same thing when they debuted at Fatu. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Fatu was pretty much his. Now Jeff Cobb is his. You feel me? So I think it's pretty much to the point where Jeff Cobb is gonna do what Fatu was doing for Solo and helping him actually win something for once. Um,
That's a fair
and
point.
pretty much like push Fatu out because they're gonna be the faces. So how I
Imagine. Go ahead.
yeah, so I feel like it'll be perfect for Solo, and I just like we said, like I like his work right now, and I think rather than him just turning and they're fighting for the U.S. title, make it interesting. You know?
Imagine Solo wins and he cashes in on the U.S. title.
I would never watch WWE again. And Seth Rollins because I think it's obvious Seth Rollins may be winning. Um, but if the tag team match is main eventing, I could see the faces winning, then the heels beat them up at the end. Seth Rollins cashes in same night.
So especially if the men's match opens up the show.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like it's pretty much those between those two. But I would love to see anyone else pretty much win it other than Seth Rollins, in my opinion.
All right, those are some good predictions. Man, we got a lot done in this week's show. Got a lot more stuff to talk about. We're excited for the upcoming PLEs. That's going to wrap up today's show. If you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to their channel. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the show. Let us know your predictions on who's going to win the Money in the Bank, men's and women's. And let us know which wrestling show product you've been enjoying the most recently. AEW, WWE, or even TNA. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Stay safe. Stay blessed. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.